Hello, it's Simone and it's a new pen day. I am going to talk a little bit about the story why I'm showing you this pen now. Then I will compare it to other pens. Then we'll dip test it with Waterman Serenity Blue, and then we will ink it up together and do a writing sample. So this is the Benu Brown Orchid. It was shipped to me on Friday. Today is Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, and I'm such a geek because I really loved watching this pen travel. I had seen this just recently on Shauna's channel, who is Serial Nana. She shared it and I instantly fell in love with it. But I was very hesitant to purchase this pen because it's a very tiny pen. And if you have heard about my explorations and struggles with fountain pens, you know that I prefer pens that have some girth, that are long enough. And so I wasn't sure if this pen would fit my bill. I did some research online and I decided to reach out to Benu and ask if they were obtainable somewhere in the US. My hope was that maybe I would be able to purchase it or test it at the San Francisco Pen Show and hold it in my hand. However, Kate from Benu replied to my inquiry, and she said that those pens are only available through their website, and so I wouldn't have the opportunity to try it. But she offered to send this pen to me so that I could do a review on my channel, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. Now, you are going to see this probably sometime in July because I am in the process of moving and I really want to give this pen a chance. And so in order to not only give you my first impressions, I am going to ink this up now, write with it for a month, and then come back at the end and tell you all about my experience with it. So while I was talking, I was showing you this pen in all its glory. It has purple here, purple sparkly acrylic here in the middle, or resin, I think. Then there's golden brown here. There are some green golden sparkles here. Same on the other side. It looks like there is some splatters, or like the gold was put in there. Maybe it sinks to the bottom. I have no idea. And actually, I would really love to know how these pens are made. Because it looks like maybe this is heavier and it goes down. I'm not sure. And then we have the section and grip section of this pen, which is exactly the same style. I'm not sure if it's thinner. It's probably because it's a number 5 nib compared to the Benu Euphoria that I have as well. And I actually, today, the milkshake exclusive from Goulet was available, and I snagged one of those too because I am really in love with Benu's pens. So I asked for a fine nib because that is what is in my Euphoria Jazz, and I really enjoy that nib width. It's super fine, but at the same time it's extremely wet. There is no converter included in this pen because it is a super short body and the converter wouldn't fit. The converter that fits in here is for instance, the Kaweco Sport converter that you can purchase through Kaweco goes in here, and that's what I'm going to use later on. So now this pen is super short like this. It doesn't look like it can be capped, but I was playing around with it and it actually feels really nice. when you cap it, I wonder if this is the same for longer writing sessions. That's why I'm really excited to come back at some point in a month or so and tell you all about my experience with this pen. But I don't also, if I'm like gliding my fingernails over the place where I just pushed really hard to set the cap or to post the cap on the back of the pen, it doesn't feel like it's flimsy. I mean, it comes off easily. It's not like it's super secure, but if I shake it, nothing happens, so that's good. There. So now let's compare pens. I have two pens that are pocket pens. This is the Pilot E95S in burgundy. That's this size. And thank you so much, Marilyn Darling, for the idea to use a rag as a roll stop. This is the Kaweco Sport. This is bigger than the Pilot E95S. So the Pilot E95S is not supposed to be used unposted. This is the length. Let's unscrew this. I also didn't know that there was like this wobbly thing. This is such a weird pen, but this pen is so fascinating to me. I'm so thankful they sent this to me because I cannot wait to see how it feels writing with this weirdness. Let's align this here. So it's maybe a centimeter longer than the E95S, and then we have the Kaweco right here, which is the shortest of them all. I personally do not write with these pens unposted. Here they are posted. The brown Orchid is the longest of them all. I did not expect that. I thought the E95S was longer. As you can clearly see, the Kaweco is the shortest of them all. I unfortunately already packed I will come back with measurements at the end of the video. I already packed them, but I'm just gonna hold them and feel. So it's definitely slimmer, or it's guessing game. It looks like it's slimmer in the front here. I hold this about here, so I will see. I will put the numbers on the screen, and I need to take down notes that I have to measure those when I'm unpacked, but I'm going to put them here just so that we don't guess around. It looks very much the same as others. So let me grab other pens. I'm going to put these away. I'm going to leave this here. I have the Pilot Metropolitan, the Kaweco, the TWSBI Eco. This is an Eco T, and the Pilot Kakuno here that I just wanted to bring out so you can actually see a size comparison with pens that are many people have in their stash, just so that you can get an idea. I am usually not posting this. This feels so weird when I'm unscrewing this. This is so exciting. I don't think I'm posting this either. Nope. And I definitely never post my TWSBI Ecos. So it's longer. What it definitely is girthier in the crook of the hand. Again, thanks to Marilyn Darling for providing me with the correct vocabulary. And I do want to bring out two more pens, which is this monster and the Lamy, just so that we can get a comparison. These are both inked. Yeah. So even though this is the smallest of them all, this is the biggest. Now I really want to cap them all and put them away, because what I am most curious about, and I'm really sorry that I do not have a comparison with the Benu Talisman. I actually sold that pen because it did not feel well right here. And so I decided to pass it along to someone who would be able to appreciate it more than I I have another Euphoria on the way. This is my model of choice, or maybe it's going to be the Orchid. So here, humongous pen, Euphoria, tiny pen, or brown Orchid, posted. This one I do not post. This is what they look like. Wow. Okay, I could post this. It's less sturdy as this, but who wants to post a pen like this? I mean, it gets super back weighted, but then, okay, so posted, if we match up, if we assume this is the paper, this is shorter by a centimeter, maybe 1¼ centimeters. The nibs are definitely not the same size. As you can see, this is a number 5 nib, this is a number 6 nib. They're both just Schmidt nibs. There's no specific branding on those. They have some flourishes on there. This one is gold colored, this one is silver colored. This is how the Euphoria lays in my hand. It's a nice balance. It feels really comfortable here. It's well balanced. I don't feel like I always have a really great writing experience with this, even when I'm writing for more than 1 or 2 pages. Now let's see, this is in my hand. It's definitely slimmer. I can already feel that. And because it's a shorter nib, I would probably not grip it all the way down here, probably more towards the threads here, which are not sharp at all, and which give my fingers a really nice resting spot here. What I have noticed with other pens is that if there is a huge step up between, this is tampering, there is a step up, but I sold my TWSBI VAX 700R because it was like slim the same way all the way, and then it came out to here, and that did not feel right for my hand. It was really bothersome right here. I want to say that this is not the case here. So there is like this bridge right here is very small. It doesn't feel obtrusive. And here, this is also really nice. Again, I will come back, and then where the pen rests, if I hold it here, there is nothing that will disturb. We will see, but right now it feels okay. So let's grab some paper and dip test. It's Editing Simone here. I'm not going to blend it in. I'm going to show you quickly the differences in the grip width, because I thought that was super interesting and important. Quickly about the weight, this pen weighs 13 grams without the cap, and it weighs 20 grams with the cap. So when it's posted, it is about 20 grams. I'm not using it unposted, so 20 grams is the weight that works for me. Now, I was talking about grip section width. So I looked up the Goulet grip section width that they have on their site. I'm not sure if there's other stores, online stores, that provide these resources, but that's what I went with. And then I also, that's the red writing, measured these by myself, and I have discrepancies. So I'm going to tell you my grip width. The Kaweco Sport I put at 9.6 millimeters, which is where I'm gripping it right here. The Pilot E95S I just measured earlier this morning. I'm gripping it about here. And when I measure it right here, it is E95S 10.9 millimeters is the grip width, which makes sense because I feel it's comfortable to me. The Custom 74 is 10.9, the Pilot Custom 823 is 11.42. So it's closer to the grip width that I personally prefer. And then I measured this, the Benu Ambrosia, and at the bottom right here, the width is 9.7 millimeters, which is really narrow, but right here, it is 10.8 millimeters, which I found very surprising because the width right here, which is this one is conical, so it tapers down and gets narrower. This one doesn't. Is also 10.8 millimeters. So my thought process, and I mean, if we look at this together, you can clearly see where my thoughts go. What if this is the same width, because it's so much easier to have the same machining on all the pens. So this is the same as this is the same as, I don't have the Benu Talisman, but I looked at it and it works. All of those are exactly the same. So I was wondering, what if I unscrew this and then check and unscrew this and try and screw this in here? This would then confirm my theory that this is exactly the same. It's not wiggly, it fits. The reason why this tapers down and gets narrow in the front is because this has a number 6 nib and this has a number 5 nib. I would assume that this has been made because of the design, for design purposes. And let me just, I have to take off the converter, but let me try if this fits here. I'm really careful. I don't want to ruin anything, but this goes on super easily, very, very no hard things. So look at this. I don't think the cap would fit because of the, I'm very, very scared right now. I'm just putting it really, really carefully. Okay, it's all tightened up. It doesn't feel like there is any resistance in the top. Look at this. Interesting, right? Okay, so I'm gonna change it all up again, and then I'll come back and talk about the pen at the end of the video. This is my 52 GSM ink pen testing notebook. I just use this to troubleshoot. I usually open up a new page when I share a pen, and then I start working on here. Let's do just that right now. And someone, again, Iron Mix, suggested that I would clean this brim of this, and then it would be I would be able to open it easier. I do have a question for everyone who is super experienced with this. I did not flush the pen. Oh my God. What did I just do? I did not flush the pen. Let's see what happens. I saw someone on a different video decanting some of the ink into a vial so they would not contaminate the bottle. Do you do that? And is that a good idea, or would you rather not do this? When I think about it, it doesn't really make any, it doesn't not make sense. I think, why haven't I thought of this ever? So first test is smooth AF. Well, maybe, let's see. It feels like it's bouncier. We can compare this. This is inked with Robert Oster Morning Mist. So we definitely will not get the same writing experience, but I feel like this is bouncier. Okay, so this is the Benu Brown Orchid. I feel like it's a little scratchy towards, I don't know. It's a fine nib. I think right now I would not tune this at all. I will just ink it up with whatever ink I am choosing. I already brought it out here. I'll show you in just a second. And then when I'm writing with it for longer writing sessions, I will realize what's wrong with it and what not. But it doesn't feel like there's anything wrong with it, which is amazing. I just rinsed out the ink. You can still see some water in here, so it might be a little bit lighter than usual. I'm gonna grab my rag again, and here is the options that I have. I have this Kaweco converter, but it doesn't feel like it's seating well here. So maybe I will have to rinse out the cartridge. This one works. This is a Pelikan cartridge that I rinsed, and this one is a, what is that one? This is also a Pelikan. But I just rinse out cartridges that I'm done using. Sometimes I actually just empty out the ink because it's standard royal blue, and then I just syringe fill the ink, which is not something that I prefer doing, because if I do not fill the pen through the feed and the nib, then I often have really big trouble getting the pen to write. But we can just dip it then and see if it helps work and flow. So I'm going to syringe fill this with, I haven't talked about it yet, Diamine Festive Joy. It is, and I'm just going to fill it all the way up. I plan on getting this ink, testing this ink out all the way. This was in the Inkvent calendar 2021. I did not participate in 2022 because I had not used them, but I recently fell in love with Diamine inks again, and I'm strongly considering getting it again. If it's being offered this year, I mean, they would be stupid if they wouldn't, because I feel it seems like it's a success. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, where am I going to start? Right here. Of course, it is not writing. There is some really, really light purple. Let's help this a little bit by sucking the ink out through the feed. Maybe this is everything it needed. Yes, this is exactly the purple that I was hoping for. If you've been watching my channel for a while and not just stumbled across this because you were looking for a review for this pen, then you know that I do not usually match my pens and inks. But this is definitely prone, and what I would really love is a very, very vicious crocodile green that looks similar to this one. When the reflection just hits it right, that would be so cool. I would also like a golden brown ink would be nice. Okay, so let me introduce you to my new pen, the Benu Brown. It seems a bit drier with a fine nib. Small writing, fine nib. This pen was given to me for review by Benu. Thank you so much, by the way. I really appreciate this. Downstrokes look like this, side strokes, upstrokes, other side strokes, and it does feel like it's bouncy. I'm going to write with my, it feels finer maybe, let's see. So this is this pen, and let's see how wet it is. nice. I did not experience any wobbly feelings with the cap. I would assume that this is the way it goes, but no, it's not. This is just such a fascinating pen to me. And it doesn't roll because of the flowers, the orchids flowers. Yes. Here is, in comparison, the number 6 nib in fine from Benu. It's of course inked with a different ink and it looks much broader. I might widen the tines a little bit with some brass shims. It's even wetter. Just so you can see, or just so that I can see a wetter ink flow. It's definitely drier. I can see that right now. Benu Euphoria. And the nib is bouncy as well, just in a different way, I feel. So yeah, that's it for this. There will be more when I come back at the end of the month. Let me come back with two different versions of my thoughts on this pen. Number one, I love this pen. I reach for it frequently. I love touching it. I love writing with it. I didn't think I would love writing with it as much as I do. The barrel back here is still smooth, even though I put a lot of pressure on posting the cap so it doesn't come off easily. I really enjoy this pen a lot. I did not expect this to happen at all. So that is such a surprise to me. It's so exuberant. It's not normal. That's what I love about it. It makes me extremely happy. Every time I use this, I feel just like, my heart beats a little bit faster. I really love how it feels in my hand. Again, I did not expect this. In the crook of my hand, I can feel these flowers, but they do not disturb my writing at all. Maybe because the pen is so light, so it sits nicely in there, but it's light enough to not be of any disturbance at all. The thing that I was confused in the beginning was which one is the cap and what is the barrel. Of course, this one is the cap, but the shorter part of this is the pen. I now just look at here and then I know this is how I unscrew it and open it up. It's weird because when you look at it, the cap is bigger than the barrel of the pen. I normally don't like translucent grip sections. I really don't like when I can see if there is ink in here or if anything gets trapped in there. That just doesn't make me enjoy using a pen. So I would prefer if this wasn't translucent, but then again, it hasn't really, it's not a no, like, you know, this, I'm not going to get this big pen because this grip section is translucent. And the other thing that I wasn't really too sure about is this wavy, leaf petally closure. So most of the pen caps have a straight edge, basically. This one doesn't, and it's kind of weird. But then again, using these flowers as roll stop, ingenious. So I am super happy with this pen overall. Now let's talk about when I started to share the review. I was super confused about the fine nib, that there is no tipping. I was wondering if this is normal. I reached out to Benu again and sent a video of the tip of the nib, and they said it isn't normal. So they sent me another fine nib. Because it takes a while, correspondence takes a while, back and forth, and then they sent it out. I moved in the meantime. This didn't get to me until June 15th, this nib that is in here right now. When I realized this maybe wasn't the right thing, I ordered another nib, just this basically, from Goldspot. This is the only place that I have found that has reliably has these spare nibs in stock. So that's the second time that I have purchased a nib from them. And I purchased a medium nib. This is the original nib that I received from Benu. You can see there's no tipping on the nib. This is the medium nib that I purchased from Goldspot. And this is the nib that I received from Benu. And actually it didn't come on the 15th. I don't know. It came, yeah, it came on the 15th. So if we compare these two nib widths, I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room. I hope you can see this. I can't really see my camera at the moment because it's so bright outside. And I wonder if their error margin, no, not the error margin, the width that is okay for a medium nib and a fine nib is different. So let's look at, I mean, yes, this is a number 6 nib, but if it says it's a fine nib, look at the fine nib on here. Fine. Tipping again is very different. So this is definitely broader than this one. I have another Benu, which is this one. This is a medium nib. Let's look at the tipping. I mean, I'm not looking at it with a loop, but just with the eye. These look very similar. This one looks even broader than this one. And then I do have one more Benu nib. Let me check where I can find that. This one. This is a broad nib. Yeah, so this one is even broader than the medium nib. So yes, so the line width is very different. I think that the reason why the writing experience with all of these pens is so different is because these nibs are made at a factory. So they are factory nibs. They have a certain leeway. I'm not getting that word. And what the nib that you might get might vary. Even if you get the same pen, the nibs might be different. That is not something that is super unusual. I have experienced that with Kaweco Sports. I have experienced that with TWSBI Ecos. All of those lower end pens, lower price range pens, have nib variations. One nib might not be the same nib as the other one, even though they have the same, they're both medium nibs. Now, this is a $28 pen. This is a $140 pen. I would expect from a pen that has this price range that the nibs are more consistent. I do know, again, because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, that this is not the case, even with more expensive pens. So this nib is a Jowo number 6 nib. It's a medium nib. This pen is a Jowo number 6 nib. It's a medium nib. They write completely different. This pen is 170. This pen is 300. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you purchase a more expensive pen that your experience with the various different nibs is so much better. What you pay for here is the design, the inspiration that the person had when they made this. What you pay for is actually this. You do not pay for exclusive, amazing, consistent writing experience with the nibs. That is something that is not, for me, in my experience, my opinion, doesn't seem to be included in the price with many of those more expensive steel nibs. And I have heard from other people who have gold nib pens from other brands have the same experience, which sometimes those pens are even more expensive than this. So if you're okay with getting different writing experiences, even though you have the same nib, if you buy this pen because you like the design, I can really highly recommend this pen. If you are looking for exactly the same nib experience all the time, you might need to be able to tinker with the nib a little bit, not hugely tinker, maybe just use some brass sheets to get the flow of the pen, the nib better, maybe some mesh to just make it a little bit more smooth. One thing that I wanted to point out, so when they sent me the replacement nib, which is this one, they also included a grip section. And that's really weird because this is, again, a medium nib that should fit in here. But if I put this in here, it's super tight. So I don't know how they quality control all of those things. Oh, wow. Now I can't even get it back out. It should actually really go very easily inside here, and it doesn't. So that's something that I'm wondering, like, if you sent this as a replacement to me because the first one wasn't really working well, why don't you notice that this grip section is faulty? I need something to, don't have a tissue right now. So if I unscrew this right here, you can see how easily this comes off and goes in here. This one is the faulty one. I'm not going to put it in again. Goes in here and then it doesn't budge. If I put in this medium nib into this other grip section, look how easily this screws on. So I am definitely going to get rid of this grip section because it's not correct. I'm going to show you the different writing experiences with the different nibs. I am not going to throw away the faulty nib because it feels like a cursive nib to me. Let me grab my book and I'll show you those and then I will let you go. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below. Do you have one of those exuberant pens? What's your experience with those? I am extremely in love, and thank you again so much to Benu for sending this my way. I have just recently seen the new Gold Coast pen, I think that's what it's called, from an exclusive with Atlas, and oh wow. So this is the faulty fine nib. This is how it writes. This is the medium nib right here. It's super wet. And then this is the fine nib that was sent as a replacement. I made some writing comparison with both of those nibs. You can see the line width difference. It looks like there must be a nib width in between. Okay, thank you again. I hope to see you soon. Bye.